Hello and welcome to the Metroidvania Review official stream. My name is Professor Q, and I have here with me today Nick.
How's it going, everybody?
And this week we are starting Metroid II: Return of Samus because we finished Metroid Zero Mission a couple of weeks ago. This is probably the most important game in the Metroid series, in my opinion, as far as the plot and story goes. Why would it freeze? Why would it freeze when we're streaming? There we go. All right. So this is the first time you get to see Samus's spaceship, and inside her spaceship there are actually two refill items. You can restore your health
wow.
and
I thought they did
missiles.
that for the first time in Super Metroid.
Nope. No, this game is a first for a lot of things. This is the first game where you can shoot down. It's the first game where you can duck and shoot. So a lot of different things. One thing that I'll note, Samus starts off with a loadout of the ball form and 30 missiles. Which is...
Do you lose them?
Nope.
Does it do a throw you against a wall and all of your upgrades disappear for some reason?
Nope. Nope, you just start with it. And in addition, you'll notice in the top bottom right corner of the screen there's a 39 Metroids counter. The object of this...
is to collect the Metroids and transport them to a nature preserve.
That would be hilarious. So the plot of this game is that the Galactic Federation decided that the Metroids are too dangerous, and so Samus is now required to go and annihilate whatever's left of them.
Xenocide.
Xenocide, yes. That is a very heavy theme that this game kind of takes more lightly than it probably should. But then again, it doesn't. Like, that's something we're going to talk about, is I actually think this game handles it pretty well. So, as we saw in Metroid Zero Mission, the plot of that game was that... so I guess what happened was some scientists found the Metroids on this planet, or a Metroid, was transporting it, and they were attacked by space pirates. And the space pirates liked the Metroids so much that they decided to breed them. Turns out you can breed them pretty quickly just by exposing them to beta radiation. And they became very destructive, and the worry is that one Metroid could destroy an entire planet's civilization. Unfortunately, Metroid Zero Mission didn't really display that power of the Metroids very well, in my opinion. That fear of them.
Yeah, because we killed, like, several. One person did.
But in any case, they sent a group of specialized forces here to kill all the Metroids, because they didn't want them to be, discovered again and their destructive power to be dispersed. Essentially, they're the nuclear bomb of this game's universe. And so after the specialized forces disappeared, Samus was put out to take care of them. There's a Metroid right there. And the specialized forces disappeared. They were never heard from again. And as it turns out, on their home planet, Metroids mutate. This is the default coloring I think that the Game Boy Advance provides.
It makes sense.
Caldrath's commenting that it's not the green. Yeah, I'm actually excited to play the original. And welcome, Cactuar and Caldrath. So yeah, they were playing this on the Game Boy Advance emulator, which is going to emulate this game as if it's on the Game Boy Advance. I think you can change the colors, but I don't know how. I'm probably going to leave it like this unless... especially since we're probably only going to be spending 2 weeks on this game, so we'll just keep it the same color the whole time. Welcome, Animator AR.
I actually had, growing up, a Super Game Boy that you could plug Game Boy games into your Super Nintendo and change the 4 core colors.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually played this on the Super Game Boy a lot. This is probably the Metroid game that I played the most, because it's the one I had growing up, which is funny how that works.
Usually that's how it works out.
Yeah. So I optimized this game quite a bit. And with that said, I'm actually going to pull out a map because I am old and don't remember things. Before we get too close. Because I would like to try and get the good ending. Which means that I think we beat the game under 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I don't remember what the time limit is. Anyway, this game has save points. You don't have to worry about passwords like the first game. Oh, apparently Animator AR borrowed this from me when we were growing up.
I did not borrow this from you when we were growing up.
So, a couple of things to note. There's still no map in this game, but because of the linearity of the game, I feel like it does a better job with not having a map. So this was originally filled with lava. Lava or acid, it's really unclear because it's a Game Boy game. Interestingly, both the remakes interpreted it as both of the both of the options. So the official remake says it's acid, and AM2R thinks it's lava. Oh, you have my original Game Boy. That's funny. I knew I sold it, but I don't remember. I sold it or got rid of it. I don't remember where it ended up.
I actually had a Virtual Boy at one point.
Oh gosh, I'm sure Anime AR still has this Virtual Boy. Okay, so this is what the acid looks like. What do you guys think? Acid or lava? You touch it, you take damage.
Well, it's blue, so it's ice.
Okay, just think of it as a gray mass, because that's what it looked like on the original, or a greenish mass.
It's really cold water.
So they made it purple in the official remake, which I thought was an interesting choice.
I mean, that's got to be acid then.
I think the reason they made it purple is because they kind of had a purplish theme scheme. You know, like how games have like their palette that they like to push.
Yeah. Good old green.
Okay. So apparently I got saved from Goodwill, my old Game Boy. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad it's still out there. That Game Boy I actually purchased from my friend who sold me all of his handheld devices. I also got his Game Gear from him.
Oh man, Game Gear. I had a Game Gear. I had a TV adapter for my Game Gear. So you could watch like broadcast TV.
Wow. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, it was neat.
All right, so the rule of thumb here is in Metroid 2, you generally want to go up first because going down usually leads to what I like to call Metroid layers. And you kind of want to get your power-ups before you go to Metroid layers. I'm not going to show this on this playthrough because I am trying to be fast, but these spawners actually stop spawning after a while. It's really interesting. Like they'll make a sound, they'll be like whew, when you've pulled out all of their...
I wonder if that's like a Game Boy limitation thing, or if it's a keep you from just farming thing.
I don't know. Maybe that's a keep you from farming thing. That was one of the great decisions this game made, is there is actually places that you can refill your health and missiles now. Huge improvement over the original.
Yeah, that's just straight up reducing the word I can't think of. This is quality content we're producing, right? Grinding, there we go.
Stop wasting your time, essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the point of these barriers are, other than to waste your missiles. Because at this point in the game, you start with 30 missiles. It's not really a gate anymore.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense if you think about it from a lore standpoint. The Chozo would put their artifacts behind locked doors regardless of your key access.
Speaking of lore standpoint, Chozo Statues. Apparently the Chozos lived on the Metroid home planet.
Oh, yeah. Or at least visited and built statues.
Yeah. So, I will also note that 38 Metroids isn't very many Metroids for, what you're supposed to be committing Xenocide on.
Well, it's a representation. It's more like 38,000. Everyone represents 1,000 Metroids.
I actually don't really... I think that... So they mentioned that they sent a Galactic Federation force to the planet before you came. So that suggests to me that maybe they killed all the Metroids on the surface, and then as soon as they started getting deeper, that's when they got wiped out and started meeting the mutated Metroids. Because you don't meet regular Metroids in this game until the very end. Spoiler alert.
Oh, man.
I think we want to go down now.
So I was going to wait until we had enough people in the stream, but I'll go ahead and start. So I've got the official handbook for this game, which, as we know, for NES and Game Boy games is where pretty much all of the lore is. But not all, just most.
Well, real quick, before you start,
Uh-huh.
we went on this mission to kill all the Metroids, and it is
Yeah.
a well-known fact that Metroids are weak against ice. And we did not bring the ice beam with us. Like, what?
Well, we knew it was here. I mean, why pack
Like,
one when
yeah,
you
it's
know
exactly-
there's one there?
Why would we pack this heavy ice beam when we know the Chozo just keep him around? Like,
It's like you're not going to bring shampoo on vacation because it's already in the hotel.
just a little ludonarrative dissonance there. I'm gonna interrupt you again in just a minute, but go ahead and start.
All right, so apparently, in the year 2000, try to wrap your head around the future.
I know. Oh yeah, you can still freeze bullets in this game. Anyway, go ahead.
Of the cosmos, representatives of many different planets in the galaxy established a congress called the Galactic Federation. A successful exchange of cultures and civilization resulted, and thousands of interstellar spaceships ferried back and forth between planets. When space pirates appeared to attack the spaceships, the Federation Bureau created the Galactic Federation Police. There are many unknown planets throughout the galaxy. Many of these are... Wait, what? Many are what? Oh, many of these are causes of concern to the Galactic Federation. To take care of this, they employ space hunters, the greatest of which is
Okay, real quick. This little thing right here, where you can't get to the spider ball, is
Yes.
something they kept in both the remakes, which I think is neat. Anyway, keep going.
What
It's
do you
just-
need? Like a super bomb?
No. You just go around the other way.
Oh, I gotcha. So yeah, so Master Chief is gonna kill the Covenant.
Oh no! Okay, fine. I'll come back. This is gonna be the reason why I don't get the good ending. It's because I was trying to get that stupid missile without getting the spider ball first. I'll come back for it. It's actually
What
not
is
that
it?
far.
Oh, are you trying to get timed endings?
Yeah, we want to beat it in like 2.5 hours or something like that. You actually have a pretty good leeway. This game isn't very long. Technically, I could probably do it in one session if I'd actually practiced beforehand, but didn't have time to practice.
So the next section. Samus's greatest achievement has been the destruction of the pirates' Metroid plans on the planet Zebes. She killed 3 space pirates and devastated a local ecosystem. Greatest achievement.
Welcome, Retrovania. We're talking about Xenocide today.
She didn't even get sent there for Xenocide. They were just like, hey, go stop the space pirates, and then she just got there and started stomping on the animals. I just imagine her coming out of her ship and like blasting all the animals, like, they're everywhere! And then they're just like, those aren't space pirates.
So this is the most unique part of Metroid II, is the spider ball. You now have the ability to climb on walls, which they got rid of in Super Metroid, and for some reason I was disappointed with that when I was a kid.
I think it's probably harder to gate when you can
Just-
crawl on walls.
Right, that's probably true. And this game doesn't really have hard gating, so besides the plot gating.
I like
Anyway.
the pancakes. Why don't the float pancakes come back in other games?
Because they're only on the SR388. I actually think they do come back in Fusion, which makes perfect sense. Anyway, so Samus's greatest achievement was Xenocide, right?
Well, not even Xenocide. At this point, it was just showing up on a planet and killing all the animals.
Yeah.
Because I guess she didn't technically destroy the planet, even though it self-destructed somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back in Super Metroid, so obviously it survived.
Is there, like, damage in Super Metroid? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Oh.
When we get there, we'll talk about it.
So it's probably, you didn't have to run away as aggressively as you did. It was probably just kind of like a little shake-up. And...
What am I doing? I'm getting destroyed here. Oh, no, I don't like having 95 hit points.
Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest bounty hunter in the world. I mean, universe, excuse me.
She comes down here to kill 38 Metroids that the Galactic Federation couldn't, so... So something cool that AN2R added is they actually added Federation units so they could fail. in front of
You
you.
watch them die.
Yeah, which I thought was great. And I don't think they did that in the official remake. Anyway, that's a discussion for when we actually do those games.
What was that? Talking about Spider Ball reminded me. There was a Metroidvania that desperately wanted to be Metroid, and one of your power ups was you fired a little. Oh, is that a Metroid right there?
Yep.
Oh, look at his soft little underbelly.
Yep. Although
You
the
got
soft
one
little
back.
belly doesn't mean anything in this game because you can hit him anywhere and it deals the damage that you need to deal. So,
Oh, really?
yep. All right, I think we want to go up now. Although I don't think we can get up unless we go to the other side of this cave. And the reason why we want to go up is because I hurt myself too much. So Colorado doesn't like the spider ball because it's too slow, and I think that is why they did not bring it back in the other Metroid games. Although they did bring it back in the Metroid Prime series. Metroid Prime series made it more like a magnet ball, though, that only attached to specific, like, metal tracks.
Yeah, that was the thing about. I think whenever you have a 3D Metroidvania like that, it's difficult not to make the upgrades just 100% contextual.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why some people believe that 3D Metroids can't exist. Come on.
How did you? That wasn't even telegraphed. How would anybody know that was there?
I'm going to tell you that I found these when I was a kid, so I'm not going to be able to answer the question of how you find it, but I did, so that is the only thing I can say about it.
It's the power of too much time on your hands.
I guess so. Anyway, a little short path that you can take up here, and there's supposed to be refillers up here, which is why I came this way. But apparently not. Where are they? All right, well, I guess I'm not refilling this way. And I don't
Probably
particularly
a different
want
area
to.
that you're misremembering.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at a map here, and it says that they're up here, so I don't know what the heck this map is doing. Get out of
Maybe it
here.
needs to be like.
Send in a correction.
mm.
I think that I want to go down here.
All right, so page 9 of the instruction manual here. We're going to go ahead and break down the UI. So in the middle of the screen there, you can see it just left to the right. It's going to be on the left now. That is Samus Aran.
Quality content this morning.
And then down on the lower left, where it says 83, those are energy units. So what do you think the energy units are? Like, do you think it's nuclear energy?
So in Metroid Other M, they made her suit like digital, and like she just loses her suit when she runs out of energy. Like really weird.
Like it's made out of like Star Trek hard light holograms or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like I don't. It's an interesting idea, but I don't know if it's retconning or what they're trying to accomplish there. What the? I like froze the bullet and it like protected him. Whatever. I'm only in here for these 2 missiles.
If I was the greatest bounty hunter in the universe, I'm not sure I would be using armor made of light.
Holographic armor. It does explain why she's able to change suits so quickly, though, if that is what the canon is supposed to have been. All right, I think we've got everything in this area, so time to book it.
Does that make Samus a magical girl?
Maybe that was the intention all along. I don't know. She does kind of do a magical girl transformation at the end of Zero Mission.
She kind of does.
Oh, great. Now we've just shoved her into a stereotype. Like, one of the great things about Samus is that she defies gender stereotypes.
Are you implying that magical girls are not tough and awesome and can be bounty hunters? Because I wouldn't watch that, but I might have at some point in my life.
You know, I bet there's a magical girl anime out there that it does that they're bounty hunters.
Where they're like tough and grizzled, and that might be fun.
So as we know, the Metroids are load-bearing Metroids, and they all open up different parts of the planet as you kill them.
Oh wait, is that the gating in this?
Yeah.
The killing Metroids?
Yeah, it's killing the Metroids. So I only need to kill 3 Metroids in order to progress to the next area. So this is something else that I thought was really cool that this game does. A little bit of environmental
Oh, you see the
cues.
husk.
Yeah, you see the husk of the Metroid before they... We actually
Can you
couldn't
crawl
have gone this
inside the
way
husk?
because we needed bombs to get in here. Little ability gain to prove that this game is actually a Metroidvania. Since that is under dispute.
Man, people love arguing about stupid things, don't they?
Don't be mean, Nick. There might be some people on the stream that... To be honest, I actually don't care if people care if this, or think this is a Metroidvania. I think
No, I don't either.
I think I put it as a
wanna-
medium fit when I reviewed it, so... And then here I'm supposed to just use the spider ball. Alright. This guy is going to be annoying. Here's the hardest part when you're in a corner like that, trying to figure out which wall you're actually attached to.
Oh, yeah.
So you push the right button. And this is kind of an annoying thing that this game does, is sand.
Oh. You know, that must be a relatively easy thing to code, because I remember in Super Mario Brothers 2,
They have the
there'd be
same
the
thing.
desert levels where you could, like, dig down through the sand, and I remember that blowing me away when I was a kid. But the fact that they accomplished it on the NES must mean that that's a fairly simple thing to code.
I'm going to interpret it the opposite way. It might be difficult to code, and they're showing off by doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, Mario 2 isn't like... I don't know.
So
Maybe.
before they actually aggro, you could usually get one shot in, which is nice. Helps
He's
you
just chilling.
avoid damage because the combat in this game isn't the greatest.
It is the Game Boy.
Sure.
So what other Game Boy games did you have?
I had a Ninja Turtles game which had 4 levels in it or something like that. And then I had this. I had Kirby's Dream Land, which was also a very short game. And then I think
It
the
was
other
great.
one. What's that?
But it was great.
But I think the other game that defined my Game Boy was Link's Awakening, which is still one of my favorite Zelda games.
Did you play the remake?
No, I haven't played the remake yet. I don't like the art style. Plus, I don't want to pay $60 for a game that I already like on my...
Oh, I kind of like the weird plastic art style.
I don't hate it. It's just not how I imagined the game as a kid, and you know, it's clearly a nostalgic bias there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Since I don't have anything invested in the main game.
I don't know if it can beat. I think it's like 5 minutes to beat that Ninja Turtle game. Retroidvania was asking if you could beat it in a minute. Probably about 10 minutes on a normal run.
I remember I had a Batman game for my Game Boy, and you had like gadgets and stuff, and I remember not being very good at it.
Oh, I don't actually remember that.
Oh man,
There was probably
when
more
the Game
than
Boy
one.
talked, it was super creepy though.
Persia turn.
Like haunt your nightmares.
Cthulhu pizza time. Come on.
It's funny how certain sound effects stick in your mind from the past. Like I remember there was a fishing minigame in Breath of Fire 3, I want to say. And every time you played it, a voice would ask, "Ready?" And he sounded like Sylvester Stallone. And I have remembered that 20 years later. That ready? Maybe it was Sylvester Stallone.
It could have been. Or they just made him sound like it.
But it's not like Sly is connected to fishing, so... I wonder what he's doing. I guess he's pretty old, isn't he?
Who was I chatting with? I think I was chatting with my friend Jared about the gaming industry and what is going to be the next development that really pushes forward gaming. And I think that the biggest thing is going to be doing AI voices that sound human. Like if
Oh,
you,
yeah, I bet you're right. Like on the cuff, off the cuff. I think they've already got that, more or less. Some of the deepfake stuff that they do is legitimately kind of creepy.
I don't know that if anybody has like attempted to do that in like a AAA game yet, though.
They kind of played around with that with Watch Dogs, with Watch Dogs Legion. They played around with like AI and voice changing in moderation and stuff. I don't think it was straight up like AI generated, but I think AI was involved in like randomizing stuff.
From my observation, though, that seems to be the thing that sets a AAA budget apart from a AA budget these days, or like the reason why Indivisible is still $40 when other indie games are 20, or Bloodstained for that matter. They charge 40 for that one. And I think it's because they pay people like David Hayter and stuff to
say things like acting. Metal Gear.
He should have said Metal Gear at some point in that game. I don't know if that would be copyright though. Like, is him saying Metal Gear something that Konami owns?
Like if he came into a room and there were a bunch of gears and they were made of metal and he gears.
I'm not allowed to say the word metal, but there are gears in this room.
Alloy gears.
So let's unpack what's going on in the game a little bit more. So what would happen if, like in real life, if we discovered like a new species on the planet Earth that could blow up the Earth? What do you think our reaction to it would be? Like, let's talk about whether or not the Galactic Federation is justified in this.
Can it also be used to generate electricity? Because if so, we'll destroy the world with it.
Well, obviously, there is a positive side to the use of Metroids, because Samus has the foresight to bring one to the Federation after this game. Immediately weaponized, yeah. It's probably true in real life. So I actually wonder if this is actually a pretty accurate description of what would happen if...
Well, no. What would happen was the Galactic Federation would actually secure samples before having you wipe out all of the Metroids. That's what would actually happen.
And spoiler alert.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, it's just...
countries wouldn't develop nuclear weapons, build up enormous stockpiles, and then tell the rest of the world it's illegal to make nuclear weapons. No one would do that. That would be incredibly hypocritical.
So, like many things in Japanese media, I think that the Metroids are a allegory of nuclear.
They even kind of look like a little mushroom cloud.
I don't know if that was intentional. So, it's also said, now I don't quote me on this as truth because I don't know if it is, but I have heard that the Metroid series was inspired by the Alien movies, which is why Ridley's named Ridley.
I mean, it seems like it seems like that's too much to be a coincidence. Like, it's not like Ridley is a Ripley. That's pretty on the nose. And
then the Metroids were a rip-off of the Face Eaters because the way they attached to you.
Oh, yeah, before they... I mean, to be fair, Xenomorphs are way more terrifying than the Metroids are.
Sure. They get pretty terrifying in this game, which is another thing I think this game was trying to establish, is that the original Metroid, even the original NES Metroid, didn't really show off the Metroids as a major threat, which, again, is the biggest disappointment I have with Metroid Zero Mission, is that they had an opportunity to really show how bad the Metroids are, and they kind of blew it, in my opinion.
Especially since they're just kind of chilling Shadow of Colossus style.
You mean this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think this is partly because of the limitations of the Game Boy, but... Alright. First things first, we want to get in this area is the spring ball, because I hate not having the spring ball. However, there is a boss that guards the spring ball for whatever reason. So I'm going to save first because I'm probably going to die. How's it going, Dr. Octo Rocket?
They should have shown Metroids versus normal people to like really sell how terrifying they are.
Yeah, exactly. They may have been too violent for Nintendo's usual family-friendly... Like, in general, the Metroid series is kind of strays from Nintendo's usual family-friendly persona.
Right.
Which I think is part of the reason why they don't spend a lot of time building this series. It's such a wasted opportunity. They have something great here.
Well, they're supposedly working on something that they care about enough to restart because what they had wasn't very good.
Yeah, I think that they know that they need to get it right this time.
Well, I mean, one of the downsides of waiting this long before they made a new one is that
Hype.
expectations are about as high as they can possibly get. And as CD Projekt Red can attest, that is not a situation you want to find yourself in.
Oh gosh. Nintendo is very good about not releasing games that aren't done, though. I think that they have a... I don't know if it's just a company philosophy or something, but for the most part, like, I'd say that the worst game that they have released, as far as glitches and being unfinished, was probably Mario Sunshine, and people still love that game, so...
Yeah, I mean...
that's about as low as they've gotten, I think.
It is interesting that Sunshine lacks that polish that most of their games have.
Yeah. So this is kind of a cool room. A lot of interesting, even for the Game Boy, a lot of interesting environmental things that they do here. Those pipes that I just passed. Oh gosh, these things are brutal, and it's probably going to kill me.
Wait a minute. Sunshine, you unlock
They give a lot of
movement
health.
upgrades that unlock new locations.
I think I've heard somebody make that argument before.
I mean, that's straight up the case. Those flood upgrades.
I really think that that is something that somebody has done before, or made. Okay, do I want to get the Vario suit first, or do I want to get the ball, or the ball jump first?
There's naysayers that don't like Wind Waker? I thought that was pretty universally enjoyed. Skyward Sword is the one that everybody hates.
Yeah. I like the intro of that game, but apparently it gets worse when Fee comes along, though.
I never actually played it.
The intro is charming. It's like a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess I remember that. Well, it's because they wanted adult Link, and they got Toon Link.
Yeah, it's mostly because of the art, I think, that... let's see. If I go this way, I can get the Wave Beam. Do I want the Wave Beam now?
Can you switch between weapons, or does it just combine everything?
Oh gosh. Yeah, when it comes out of a shell. Which means I can't get my preemptive strike. Which means this is actually harder than the other Metroids that I've fought so far. I got hit too hard by that laser gun earlier. I'm sorry about the beeping sound, but it's going to happen for a little while. Come on. I know there's one in here. There it is. So those pipes that we saw in the other room are actually traversable.
Yeah. They're air ducts. You found the air conditioning system for the planet?
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's like an E-tank in here somewhere because I don't like this beeping sound. And then...
Caltroth, I like how they evolve into easier to kill.
Yeah, they don't even need the... They definitely get harder as the game progresses, but...
I mean, to be fair, evolution doesn't necessarily just make you a better killer or make you tougher to... I mean, Samus isn't part of their environment, so it makes sense that they wouldn't evolve into something that's stronger against her.
Now, for the record, they did change that in both the remakes, where they made the Alpha Metroids a whole lot more threatening. Now we can shoot through walls.
You can sure collect upgrades fast in this game.
And yes, this is the awkward teen phase of Metroids. That's why they call them the Alpha Metroids, because they're like those dumb teenagers who are like, oh, we know everything.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Comparing Metroids to teenagers. That's what we do around here. I hate these rooms. This is a design that they had in both the original Metroid games, and not really a fan of that room design. I'm really hoping there's an E-tank in here. I don't want to spend too much time looking at the map, but we definitely want those missile upgrades. So there's two ways to beat the final boss in this game. There's the right way, and then there's the way I did it every time as a kid until I discovered YouTube. And you do it my way, it takes like 150 missiles at least to beat the final boss. Now we're already up to 110 max, but still, I used to think it took 200, but then I found out you could do more damage if you shot the boss with their mouth open. So we'll talk about that more when we get to that boss. But
Oh, I thought you meant with your mouth open.
and yes, there is no beam stacking in this game, so you have to kind of choose which one you want. Beam stacking started in Super Metroid, and for whatever reason, they didn't bring it back in Metroid Prime, which I still wish they brought it back in Metroid Prime 3, and I don't understand why it took them that long to get there. They experimented a little bit with having ammo instead of infinite shots in Metroid Prime 2, which I thought was an improvement.
That's an interesting idea. I mean, make it a resource.
Yeah, there's an E-Tank. Oh gosh. I'm tempted to save state just so I don't have to redo this part, but I told myself I was going to save state.
Part of our mission briefing is Metroids are hiding in dome-like structures, corridors, and tunnels. Alternatively, a number of strange life forms live in the underworld that will attempt to prevent you from completing the mission. Why do they care?
So, the AM2R version of the remake interpreted this as old Chozo security systems, which I think the official remake does the same thing.
Wait, it says in the instruction manual here, some areas in the caverns appear to be ancient civilization. Check these areas carefully. You may find useful items to make Samus more powerful.
I'm not gonna mess with trying to get up these. I'll probably die if I do. Oh gosh. I think there might be a passage to the right. Let's find out. This seems a little obvious to me. It's really easy to... Oh gosh. Oh gosh, what have I done? Hopefully there's something good in here. Hopefully it's the E-Tank. I think it might be. I think this is... What's this? Oh, the high jump boost. Oh, we definitely need that. I have a map in front of me and I'm already completely lost. I probably should play this without a map because I did play it enough as a kid that some of it just comes back to me, but...
I mean, the fact that the screen is as zoomed in as it is kind of a limitation.
Some people consider that a benefit of this game, or as far as like the atmosphere, that it makes this area more scary.
I guess.
And the nice thing about getting an E-Tank is you get fully healed. So yeah, don't miss some of these secrets. So they did add beam stacking to both the remakes, which of course, why wouldn't they? Alright, let me just play shooting gallery with these guys as we spider climb our way back up here.
Well, the artwork for the spider ball actually shows it as like a gooey ball.
Yeah, it's like sticky.
Why wouldn't you call that like the goo ball or the climb ball? Spider ball makes it sound like it's got little legs.
They are little legs, just they're tiny. They're so tiny that it makes goo.
Gross.
Samus is gross. That's what I should.
Oh, you get space jump in this game.
Yeah, you do, and you actually get it pretty early on. We will probably get it before we finish today. So again, I guess the question we never really answered was: do you think the Galactic Federation was justified in this Xenocide? Oh, I need to go up a different way.
I mean, considering we don't fully understand the actual threat of the Metro, I mean, off the cuff, I'd say no, but...
Sure. I think the only way out is back up that pipe. I could be wrong on that. Alright, here's the tricky part. Oh, I don't think you can turn into ball form in the air, so I think I just have to do this. Yeah, I think the air ball form is something that started in Metroid, Super Metroid. So in another thing that AM2R does is that they made ball form into a button that you push.
Oh, instead of just hitting down?
Yeah, and so you can push that in the air and, just turn it into ball form midair, which is actually really useful with the spider ball.
Oh, so they add other beams to this. These Chozo upgrades are weird looking.
Yeah, this game includes the first time that they had the both the Spazer beam and the plasma beam. Poor Spazer beam got shafted in Super Metroid by being the one that you had to choose between.
Oh man, enemy names.
Hey, how come you're not keeping us up to date on all of those?
All right, let's see. What are those things? Little hive things? Let me see if I can find those.
Alright, this boss is gonna probably destroy me. I'm glad that I got an E-Tank before I came to it.
So that thing you just killed was a blob thrower. Blob thrower.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that...
I think most of the enemies in this game are called things like Golgug or Siruk. That thing's just a blob thrower.
So the reason why this boss is such a pain in the neck is you can only hurt him with bombs, I think.
Oh, look at his little gross face.
But he gets a really convenient upgrade for the spider ball. We can now jump in ball form. So now it's really easy to just clean.
So now you don't have to... Oh.
Yeah.
You don't have to bomb jump.
Nope. It's nice and convenient. Now I don't have to go all the way to the wall to get out of here.
Are there any other games that let you jump in ball form?
Yeah, Super Metroid does. I think that that's pretty standard. What usually happens is that you get the... Well, Spring Ball is a separate power-up in Super Metroid, but I think in the Prime series you get it as part of another upgrade. I'm trying to decide what the best way to... Oh gosh. I'm looking at the map while jumping. That's not... not advisable. Like I said, I probably don't even need the map, but I figured I'd have it just to...
And those turrets are called Roll Fire, and they totally look like Chozo technology.
I told myself I wasn't going to just spam my gun the entire time to try not to annoy people, but here I am spamming my gun and annoying people, I'm sure.
My volume's turned off.
Oh, there's spikes right there. I'm trying to figure out how to get up to that spot. Oh well, let's go get let's go get what's down here. So they didn't have a gravity suit in this game, so water is just water. Or water doesn't really do anything. Alright. I think there's a Metroid in this room. Maybe not.
With the yellow and red color theme, you kind of look like Ronald McDonald.
Now you make me want to change the color. We'll see what I look like after I get the Varia suit. Okay, up we go. I thought the Varia suit was so cool when I was a kid. I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing's awesome! And all it does is really make you take less damage, which is really useful, but...
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's funny how the Metroid Zero remake, they did it so that you had to have it in order to... Oh, right, because... Of course they have to subvert your expectations occasionally, even though they have this same secret in every one of these Chozo rooms. I do like this. This is funny to me. Although it kind of ruins it when the Game Boy Color makes the actual ball a different color.
Yeah, how else would you know? You'd never know to dig down there.
I think we can...
Although, you know what? That must mean that in the original game it makes it a different color. Like a slightly different shade or something.
It's different coding there. So in the Game Boy, it didn't have color, so I'm sure this makes the Ronald McDonald thing worse. It didn't have color, so they actually had to add a visual difference.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And this is when Samus got her big pauldrons.
Yeah, she looks neat.
I thought it was cool when I was a kid. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so beefy now. Beefy woman. I have to use my deep, strong bad voice to express how beefy she is.
She's ripped.
Hey, Game Boy Color was a big deal back then. Even though the Game Gear was out and proved that you could do some really good graphics with handheld.
Game Gear was a great device. It just didn't have any good games.
Yeah. Plus, it only had like 5 minutes of battery life, which is the reason why Nintendo didn't have a backlight for so long.
True.
I think in order to get to that Metroid up in the top left, I think we have to go all the way around. So off we go. I guess that's what we're doing.
See, you weren't sent here by the Galactic Federation. You were sent here by McDonald's Corp. And you're getting these Metroids for burgers.
4 burgers, Metroid burgers. That's what the M in McDonald's stands for. Other M.
Exactly. That's the other M. It's other McDonald's.
Other McDonald's. Oh gosh. What have we done? We've made it worse than AM2 or Metroid Other M somehow. I'm sure people would disagree with that. It's like, no, McDonald's Metroid is better than Other M.
Try our new McDonald's or Metroid burger. Every time you bite into it, they feed on us, so it's time for us to feed on them.
Come on. Let's see if we can get past these spikes. Nope. How do I get up there again? Alright, let's go this way. This is where we're going to lose our time. I actually do not expect to get the best ending, but I figured I might as well try for it, right? Basically, if this takes, well, I don't know. This is not going to take more than 2 sessions. Which, with that in mind, oops. I think I'm going to do demos next week to fill in whatever extra time we have.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Alright, fine, we'll just loop. Metroid DX would be kind of neat. I actually thought about looking up mods for this game before doing it, and I'm like, nah, I'll play vanilla. Alright, what am I doing? Okay, what's going on here? How do we get up there? How do we get up there?
I think since you've never beaten the Hollow Knight DLC, and now that you've upgraded your computer and supposedly can play Hollow Knight on stream, you should totally have to play the DLC on stream.
Yeah, that was actually my original plan. Okay. I'm going completely the wrong way, apparently. Let's go back this way. Those wall spikes, man, they mess you up.
Just like in real life.
It's so much easier to just kind of lead shots. Oh, come on. You guys dropped the great 20 energy things. Why weren't you being generous to me just then? So when I was a kid, if I ever got lost, I would just restart and reload because I always wanted the best ending. Alright, well, we need to make our way up to the top left somehow, and you do not get the... Oh, I'm dumb. I just scrolled a little bit to the left on the map, and I just found where we need to go. So we can...
User error.
Yeah. Like I said, I think using the map is actually making it worse for me. Because I would have probably naturally come over here. Just for my...
Your Metroidvania sense?
No, for my nostalgic instincts. I'm pretty sure my Metroidvania sense would have got me completely lost in this game just because it's old. Okay, there's a missile upgrade in here. Oh, when you get the spring ball, or sorry, the Various suit is what makes you like all like electric-y when you're in spider ball form, I think. Like it changes the way your spider ball looks.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, there's no issue with posting a link for a patch for...
Yeah, no,
color
absolutely
fix.
not. Yeah, go ahead. And annoyingly, we have to bomb our way back out because when you leave the screen, everything respawns. Yeah, actually, like I said, I was thinking about doing hacks during this stream, but then I thought I should just show the vanilla, because if I'm going to show a modified version of Metroid II, I should be playing one of the remakes.
True.
This boss has a health refill next to it, it looks like. So you have your sound off, but one of the great things about Metroid 2 is how little music they do use. Like right now, it's making like squeaky noises of like the enemy, the wildlife. Yeah, you're triggering too early.
Atmospheric.
Yes.
So I'm guessing you don't actually have to kill all the game.
You don't actually have to do what?
You don't have to kill all 31, or maybe you do.
Yep, you absolutely do. Right, how do I get to this thing? Because I want it. I didn't wait long enough there to... There we go.
Like, what would happen if you got to the very end of the game and you're like...
Oh, no, you can't progress.
Where he is.
You can't progress. So, like, right now, we still have to kill 4 more Metroids before we can even progress the game, so...
Wow.
They prevent you from getting lost that way. So this is a challenge that... So, see how fast it takes me to kill those Metroids? Like, 3 seconds, you know? Not too bad.
Right.
This is a challenge that both the remakes had to deal with, was the concept of going around and hunting the same fight over and over again, because you have the Alpha Metroids and you have later on, spoiler alert, we'll probably get there before the end of the stream, they start to become more powerful as you progress. But you have all these duplicates of Metroids. In fact, I think we're going to see one right now. So there's a shell.
How do you keep 35 boss fights fresh, basically?
Right, and I think AM2R did as good of a job as you can do. And I feel like the official remake like completely failed at that regard.
Oh man, looking get bigger.
Yeah, and they take 10 missiles now instead of 5. Still pretty fast to kill them though. But I think it's a little bit more forgivable in this game because of how quickly you can take them down. So that little tongue thing they do, I always thought it was a tongue when I was a kid. Both the remakes interpret it as like a laser beam or like an electric shock wave.
A tongue would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Well, so the Metroids are supposed to be like energy sources or whatever, so it kind of makes sense that they would do like electric beams or whatever.
Swinging his little Metroid leg. Oh, so they don't all upgrade from now on?
No, you still run into alphas occasionally. Maybe a leg, yeah. But anyway, like the remake made it so every Metroid takes, a minute or so to kill. And that makes the fights more interesting, but when you repeat them so many times...
Yeah, that's a half hour of fighting basically the same 2 bosses.
Right. And here's the other thing is that like they standardize the arena that you fight them in. And again, we're probably going to play both the remakes on stream, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but anyway, when they transform, you can't get a preemptive strike on them. I actually find these a little bit easier because they're a bigger target.
So the question is, could they have made like 35 unique little mini boss fights?
Okay, so here's the thing, is the AM2R use the environment to change it. So like that fight was a little bit different because of the sand. And that's an example of like a way you can take the same boss fight and make them new. And I'm not saying the AM2R does that with every single encounter, and it doesn't really necessarily need to. But again, Samus Returns... Again, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll talk about it when we get to that game. I think I should probably stop talking about the remakes since we're here to talk about this game. I think this one's just an alpha. So he's got his shell right in the room, so he's just a baby.
Kill it. It's EVIL Metroid
kill it.
Turn them into burgers.
All right, I'm going to make a goal not to talk about the remakes anymore until we actually get to them. Should Super Metroid get a remake? I would say yes. However, Metroid Zero Mission...
available on the Switch right now?
Yeah, it's on the Nintendo Network. Like if you're paying the $20 a year.
Oh, right. That's how I play Mario All-Stars.
Is that on the Nintendo Network?
Yeah. It's on their streaming thing.
Oh, neat. Well, that's cool that they did that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty much every Mario game is now on the Switch except for Galaxy 2.
What are they doing, Nintendo? Them and their little Nintendo
They're
vault.
they're so close to perfection. It's the most Nintendo thing ever to never release Galaxy 2.
No, we're going to do Super Metroid after this game, and then we'll go to the remakes. So, should they remake Super Metroid? Zero Mission was made to make the first Metroid game more like Super Metroid, and AM2R was kind of the same vein. Samus Returns kind of went a completely different direction. I would not mind either. Or obviously, you don't need to remake Super Metroid to be more like Super Metroid, but I would not mind if they did a Samus Returns type remake after having played Samus Returns. With that said, most likely I would still consider Super Metroid a game worth playing. And I wouldn't... Like, with Zero Mission, it's clearly the better option than the original, in my opinion. I don't think I would...
He's not going to talk about the sequels, proceeds to immediately talk about the sequel.
No, I said not the remakes.
Oh, all right.
I didn't say that about the sequels. Plus, people are asking about it, so... Oh, Dr. Octorok is suggesting that they do a new Mario All-Stars. What do you think, Nick? You're the big Mario fan. Would you think that a...
What, like a remake of the original Mario All-Stars?
Like, updating Mario All-Stars to modern, like, new Super Mario Brothers graphics.
Yeah, I mean, I'd play it.
As a kid, I used to think All-Stars was 100% better than the NES versions. I don't feel that way about... I don't feel that way about the original Mario, and I don't feel that way about Mario 3.
I do. I think it does. The original Mario, I think, is better on All-Stars. What do you like of the original over the All-Stars version?
Nostalgia, plus the physics are already a little bit wonky in that game, so
I guess
having
true.
the old 8-bit graphics is more natural to me.
The nicest thing, in my opinion, about the All-Stars versions is the fact that you can restart worlds if you run out of lives, instead of just starting over from the beginning of the game.
Oh,
so
sure.
You don't have to worry about like warp whistles or anything like that.
Little touches like that, I think, are a big deal.
Yeah.
I guess we can't go this way yet. I think we need to come back that way, though. This is where they start getting a little twisty with the progression.
I'm actually a little disappointed that they didn't release the original core games, like Mario, Lost Levels, all of that, in Mario Maker. Like, that feels like that would have been real easy to do.
Like, made them in Mario Maker?
Yeah, like make them available in Mario Maker. Granted, the physics are a little bit different, even in like old school mode and all of that, but
yeah,
it's still pretty close. I mean, it's close enough that most people wouldn't notice.
This is where the sound effects of the monsters start to get a lot more creepy, from an atmosphere standpoint. And again, the rule of going up first is still true here. You kind of want to go up first. And I think we want to keep going up. This place is really interesting from a level design standpoint, and I think that really lended to something that really did well with a remake. But we're not talking about the remakes. But I like the level design in this section. It's very, very non-standard, which is...
To keep us from talking about the remakes, I'm going to look up real quick. Let's see.
Instead of talking about the remakes, we'll talk about Mario.
What are you talking about, Mario? You want to talk about Mario?
No, we'll talk about Metroid. Okay, so we're in here, and I think...
Okay, so initially this game was released in November of 1991. So for the rest of the stream, we're going to pretend it's December of 1991.
Okay. Man, this game is awesome. Check out the graphics on a handheld system. This is unprecedented. Look at the detail on those walls. That's how we talked about back then.
Game in Arizona. How am I watching it on super thin television?
Everybody's just so confused right now. What are these text messages? Why don't we just call each other?
Why would I text to somebody when I can just call? I remember saying that when I was younger. And then I remembered calling people is horrible.
Alright, we're gonna get excited real quick. What's this?
Oh, I don't know. What is this? Space jump?
Space jump.
So now we can jump in space.
Technically that's true. Air is space in the air. Whoops.
You know who could also move through space? The Rocketeer in that movie that came out this year.
Wait, where did you look that up? Like, how do you know that info right off the bat?
What do you mean? Because that's a movie that came out when I saw it in theaters earlier this year.
So that's an immediate ability gate. You can't get up that wall without the space jump. And I just ran into an enemy while looking at a map, because that's what I do.
I also saw Terminator 2 Judgment Day this year, even though I'm only 7 years old, and that's very inappropriate.
There it is. Now I just have to figure out how to get to it. There we go.
Wait, so not all the sand breaks?
Not all the sand breaks, no, for whatever reason.
That's not contextually appropriate. You teach us the rule that sand breaks. Sand should break.
I mean, you can make that argument.
Of course, you could probably trap yourself down there, and then you're just...
I think if we
Well,
go...
no, you have the spider balls, so...
I'll have to get a weapon upgrade that we'll use for 5 minutes. Probably less than that, depending on how quickly we get through things. We're already up to 170 missiles, so I'm actually pretty comfortable with the number of missiles we have if we wanted to just skip things. But we still need to get the E-tanks. This is the Spazer gun. This is a new gun for this game.
Oh man, what's it do?
And it shoots 3. That's all it does. I think that I think they added a feature to it in the remakes, but I think all it does is a wide spread. I actually think it's a downgrade. Oh gosh, these things, man. I don't think we can go through this floor at all. So the space,
it's like a shotgun. It's a space shotgun.
so the space jump is actually kind of difficult to get used to in this game. Oh gosh, oh gosh.
Oh. He's hitting you with his little tongue. Oh, wait. Why did you fall all the way down?
Yeah, there's a invisible floor in this room, and we just got brutalized by this guy. So, a lot of people ask me, should I play the original or should I play one of the remakes? And this is the game design that makes me say, you know what, AM2R is a good choice.
Yeah.
I still like this game because, of course, I grew up with it and I have a nostalgic bias there.
Without it.
But without the nostalgic bias, there are still aspects of this game that I still think have value over the originals. Like, the atmosphere in the remakes isn't quite as daunting, but that's only true if you're capable of becoming immersed in these dot matrix graphics enough to get that out of the game.
Sure.
Which I don't think is going to be true of many players playing it for the first time after playing more modern games.
Some things just don't age well.
Yeah, I mean, it ages fine for me, but I can't guarantee that you're going to get the same out of it because you didn't grow up with it like I did.
How could you have grown up with it? The game just came out this year.
That's true, that's true. And somehow I'm over 35 in 1991.
Did you watch the new episode of Step by Step last night on TGIF?
Oh gosh, TGIF. Oh, Step by Step. That Cody.
Cody. And
There, that's proof.
I don't remember any of the other. Oh no, I remember the dad's name was Frank.
Yeah, the dad's name was Frank. So
I just remember there was one episode where he punches somebody, and then like it hurts his hand, and so he just sinks his whole hand in.
Come on. So I thought this would be a good strategy because I'm safe down here. But he's pretty safe as long as he keeps flipping his tongue everywhere. I guess it kind of looks like a electric beam.
Yeah, it's got little fractals. Oh, wow. Also out this year in 1991, Home Improvement.
Oh gosh.
Oh wow, the Ren and Stimpy show.
Oh geez. All right. Well,
Rug,
Space
Rugrats.
Beam's gone now.
1991 was pretty good. Oh, what? Oh, we got the plasma beam.
We got the plasma beam now, which is the best gun of the game until later. I don't think there's anything back here, but you have to check because every other room has that back there.
I'm kind of surprised that the Federation isn't really trying to get Samus to hand over all of the technology that she's pulling out of these ruins. You would think that would be more valuable than the Metroids. I mean, these weapons are incredibly powerful.
Oh man. Welcome, Sphere Kurbon. So the plasma beam has the properties of the wave beam, as in it goes through walls, and it goes through enemies too. So basically it's just the better gun. And it kills a lot of enemies in one hit. The downside to it is that you don't have as much spread, so it's harder to hit things with.
But is it as good as the Nickelodeon show Doug, which came out this year?
Really? That came out in 1991? I feel like that went a long time. It must have been like an 8-year show.
Let's see. It ran for 7 seasons. Good memory.
Yeah. Well, no, I just remember like in 1998 it coming on in the afternoon.
Oh,
These
wow.
things are so
1991
annoying.
also. Clarissa Explains It All with Melissa Joan Hart.
Did she explain texting?
Probably not. She's probably like, this is my rotary phone, guys. It's in my room. Hip girl.
She had to explain to me the rotary phone because
I just remember that she, like, dressed really, like, trendy.
I don't think I've ever watched a single episode of that show. I didn't have cable growing up, so...
Oh, I remember watching it. It was fun. I remember her room was awesome.
I think Doug came on PBS.
Oh, man. Even more appropriate to what we're talking about here. 1991, Super Mario World came out. The cartoon that ran for 1 season. Yeah, I think Sabrina was probably the first time a lot of people saw Melissa Joan Hart.
I liked Sabrina when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was fun. Salem.
I'm like curious about watching those shows again, like as an adult, to see how much I would like them.
Oh, I'm sure they're cheesy as heck.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think I've never watched the Netflix show, but I think it's a significantly different tone.
Oh, sure. Well, the Netflix, they take advantage of the fact that they don't have syndication censoring them all the time.
Man, Super Mario World. That was the one that had like the live action in addition to the cartoon, and its opening credits was a rap.
That was the Mario Brothers show. I think the Super Mario World show dropped that.
Oh wait, really? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mario, Luigi. Oh, you're right. This is when they did Dinosaurs.
Animator,
Correct.
Animator AR is probably going to be able to answer that question.
Oh man, Tasmania. You're in Tasmania.
So so I know the Super Mario Brothers Super Show had the live action sections. Did the Mario World cartoon have live sections? Is our question.
Yeah, live acted with the guy that calls everybody paisanos.
Yeah. So Animator confirms there is no
Ah,
live
well, that's
action.
probably a good thing. Oh yeah. That was classic.
Oh gosh.
You know what's funny is that
These
was like there's no argument that was terrible, and yet we all remember that more than we remember the other cartoons they made.
Sure. You know what? There's honestly merit to that. Doing something terrible just so people remember.
Yeah. And I mean, they probably didn't think what they were making is terrible. They were probably like, kids are gonna love this.
Oh, sure. Well, we need like a live person to make them accept these cartoons for some reason. I don't know what I honestly don't know what it was.
Oh, it was probably a cost thing, because animating a cartoon is expensive and filming live actions is cheap.
Sure. This is really tricky.
They're like little
Oh no, see, I did it. You gotta be careful because then the bombs will
dislodge you.
dislodge you, yeah.
Did it have a Link cartoon? I
Yeah,
don't
that was
remember
the
that at all.
Fridays. I remember getting all excited for Fridays for the Link cartoon, and it's actually kind of terrible. So
Did you get Nintendo Power growing up?
I did.
They used to have comics in there, and they had one for Super Mario World that, for some reason, in my memory, stands out as like one of the best comics that they made because it was like comedy compared or combined with Mario lore. And I remember really liking it,
Huh. Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember Nestor.
and it was like really well drawn. Well,
Nestor's the one
Nestor
that I
was
remember.
before
Yeah.
that was like NES.
Yeah, yeah.
This was all Super Nintendo age.
I don't remember the... Oh, it's a big one. Come on down here. So these guys, it's usually better if you just get underneath them and then kind of bounce them around. If I can do it. Come on. Or right here is fine, as long as I don't hit his tongue.
I bet a complete Nintendo Power collection would be worth something. Like my dad got it from very early on. He might have had. No, he did. I've still got the very I think first Nintendo Power was Super Mario II, and it had like a weird claymation cover, and I've still got that.
I think they're all being scanned in online now, like if you wanted to see.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're all digitized.
So another thing I think is interesting about this game is the fact that Samus like readily agreed to killing all the Metroids. Like, do you think she's just working for a paycheck? Is she just a hardened killer?
It's a paycheck. Yeah, you gotta put food on the table.
Sure. But they're like they made Samus out to as if she was like protecting her home planet in the Metroid Zero mission version of the game. But that's not.
She's just working from a Nintendo, working a 9 to 5.
So one advantage the wave beam has over the plasma beam is that I think you can hit those enemies with the shields on their sides without having to circumvent their shields. Oh, come on. I think that's true of these things too. So there are a couple of advantages the other weapons have over... Yeah, you can't shoot through their shields, which is interesting because that is a feature of the plasma beam in future games. Like the shtick behind the plasma beam compared to the other beams is that it pierces enemies. The wave beam pierces walls, and the Spazer I think is just big. I don't know if the Spazer actually got any kind of advantage. So you can shoot the sand in the walls, which I think is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it means it's actually coated as sand. Like
Yeah.
it's.
I think we're going to go all the way down. So in this game, the plasma beam is almost a straight upgrade to the wave beam. But there are a couple of enemies the wave beam still breaks. What is going on here? Oh, I'm dumb. So those spikes down there, you can actually come up through them, but you can't go down through them. And I'm looking at the map thinking I could use that as a shortcut, because I'm like, oh, that's a faster way into that area.
It's like those things that they put in parking garages.
Yeah. One directional. Speaking of which, we have 6 Metroids we still have to kill. Alright, the next thing we need to get is the screw attack. The screw attack makes you literally invulnerable in the air in this game, which I don't think is true of the first game.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't it make you invincible in Super Metroid?
You're gonna evolve, aren't you? Yep. I don't think it makes you invincible to everything in Super Metroid, but in this game it's literally everything, I think. 95% positive. I'm sure I'm going to find something on stream that it doesn't make you invincible against. I know it makes you invincible to all of the final boss's attacks.
That's good. Man, it's a good thing Kraid's not in this game.
Well, they're supposed to all be dead at this point.
What do you mean? Do you self-destruct this planet when you leave at the end of the game?
That is one of the features of this game that I think is the most unique, is that you do not.
Huh. That's nice.
And we're going to talk about that when we get to that point. Alright, I'm officially lost. I need to go this way first.
One downside of the Game Boy is you can't differentiate zone color, which is something they do in pretty much everything else.
No.
Do they differentiate zones with color in the remakes? Oh wait, we're not talking about the remake.
Yes, they do. Except that there's a lot of purple in the official remake. Mostly because they made the acid purple.
Right.
So this place is interesting. These webs, or what do you want to call them, they block missiles, so just the way that they made this boss somewhat different. I think there's a passageway up here. Oh, I need to be involved for it.
Oh man, Darkwing Duck, 1991.
Oh yeah, Samus Returns has some amazing backgrounds. They really... Playing that game in 3D is actually really nice, and it's unfortunate that I won't be able to stream that. I'm not sure... I think I have to bomb my way in here? No? How do I get in here?
How did he get in there?
I think I go this way? No, I have to go through his shell. That's what it is. Again, I figured all this stuff out as a kid. So you want to kind of clear the room out so you can actually hit the guy. And then the strategy of just shooting his from underneath.
Nickelodeon killed it in 1991. The Adventures, which I remember being super weird, but good. Well, you know, for a 7-year-old.
Does Citra actually let you display the 3D? I meant that when I said that I won't be able to stream that, I meant that I couldn't show the 3D of the stream. But
well, yeah, if you can show the 3D, that'd be kind of magic.
right. I wouldn't be able to. I do plan on streaming Samus Returns. In fact, I'll probably stream Samus Returns first, and then aim to our after Super Metroid is the plan. Okay, let's see.
Man, I love Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck is funny.
It was like the Inspector Gadget Duck.
Yeah, remember when Disney actually had clever writers? That was great.
Yeah, that was amazing. Oh man, Dinosaurs. Remember the show Dinosaurs?
Oh yeah.
That premiered in 1991 too.
Was that 1991?
Was amazing.
That was a great year.
You know, my favorite thing about Dinosaurs is, do you remember, or did you see the series finale of Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Where they
of course they had to end it that way. Like, how else are you going to end a story about dinosaurs?
Where they basically destroy the environment and they all go extinct.
Right. But of course they have to keep it satirical.
Right.
Okay, well apparently the Metroid's on the screen. Alright, we're going to try the above strategy, since that's where he happens to be. Once again, the environments in this game are all different, so even when you fight these guys over and over again, at the very least you have a little bit of a different approach to it.
Sure.
Whoops.
Yeah, you can use the environment to mix up the same boss fight, 100%.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight does it several times. That's basically the whole concept of the arena fights.
Yeah.
Is taking enemies you've already fought and then putting them in difficult situations.
I think there's only 2 Metroids left. Where's the other one? Oh, I know where it is. Okay. I don't think there's a missile refill here. I think it's just the health refill.
Ooh, also, in September of 1991, Back to the Future, the animated series. You know, the ageless classic that we all remember.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember anything about that.
I forget that. Not gone very long.
I don't think we're on track to get the best ending at this point. I think we have blown it considering we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and we're only this far. But who knows?
How fast?
I think it might be 2 hours. Okay, we gotta get up through this thing. Thankfully, once the Metroids scroll off the screen, they stop moving, so you can kind of use that to your advantage sometimes. Like if you knock them off the screen, you can get ready to shoot a missile and then send them back again. Although the tongue really does hurt things. I think the most powerful Metroid before the final boss is actually immune to damage on certain angles. Which in both the remakes, that is true of every Metroid. They added armor to them, which I thought was interesting. That they both decided
they're
that was
trying to make
good.
them more memorable, and honestly, in trying to make the fight more difficult and make them more memorable, they actually make them more tedious, which means
In
you're
the long
less
run,
likely
yeah.
to remember them.
Yeah, the best bosses in the official remake are the ones that don't exist in the original Metroid. Metroid II.
Yeah.
I like them a lot. They're great. We're gonna try and... Oh, okay, never mind. We won't do that. In fact, I would say that the final boss fight in the remake is one of my favorite boss fights in the game, even if I don't really care for it from a lore perspective.
Which one of the remakes is has the mechanic where if you fire a rocket and it hits armor, it just bounces off?
Yeah, that's both of them.
Oh, that's both of them?
Yeah. Sorry.
That always struck me as kind of stupid. Like, the whole point of a missile is that it explodes on impact. It's not a concussive wad of metal.
It goes just tink.
Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe that's what your missiles are. Just like a Gauss cannon.
Did I tell you about the time I started Super Metroid with my kids?
I don't think so.
So when I played it last year for the review, my kids were watching as I started it, and they were enamored by. I'm backtracking right now to get the missile refill because it got me in trouble in my last playthrough. So I want to get it now so I don't have to backtrack all the way here. Or I got in trouble with the number of missiles I had on my last playthrough. So I'm just going to go take advantage of that while it's nearby. Anyway, so at the beginning of Super Metroid, the baby Metroid, and spoiler alert, there's a baby Metroid at the end of this.
What?
Does anybody not know about that at this point? Anyway, at the beginning of the Super Metroid, Ridley steals the baby Metroid, and they saw that, and they're like, oh no, we gotta stop the dragon! We gotta get the dragon! And so I'm just playing through the game normally, and you get missiles, because you don't start with them in that game for whatever reason. Even though she had the foresight of carrying them with her in this game. I get missiles, and my son's like, a rocket ship? Is that a rocket ship? And I'm like, no, they're missiles. He's like, you have to get the rocket ship and shoot it at the dragon. Like, congratulations.
Tiny rocket ships.
Congratulations, you have deduced the entire plot of this game.
I think one of my favorite stories about one of your kids is when you could pull your head off, and they saw that and got very upset.
No, put it back on. What was that, Headlander, I think? It's like, so, you gotta fix the robot, Daddy. Right. Headlander is an interesting game. I'm not gonna call it a great, but it's quirky.
Is it? Would you call it an idea game?
Kind of. Maybe. I guess so. I mean, I don't think it really extends beyond its original concept that much. Being I think is it a Tim Schafer game? Anyway, it's a Double Fine game, which is
I don't think
kind of has that
was involved in the development.
He kind of has that sense of humor. Its biggest draw is that it's got that quirkiness to it.
Right. Wow, it is reviewed incredibly high on Steam.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, it's got a 96%.
Wow. Okay. It's fine. I don't dislike it. I felt like it felt a little empty at the end, but I mean, I don't know what I was expecting out of the ending.
Yeah, he wasn't involved. I think he just published, or his company just published.
Yeah, Double Fine. Well, I don't even know if Double Fine is necessarily intrinsically linked to him. It's just that...
Oh no, Adult Swim's, the developer was Double Fine. They probably have multiple teams, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I know, Tim Schafer's not even making games anymore.
He probably isn't. You gotta retire at some point, or die, one of the two.
Or start an online marketplace and never make enough.
Nick's a little bitter about Half-Life 3, guys.
No.
They should make it a Metroidvania, then I could review it. Half-Life 3 Metroidvania.
play that.
So they make you go into this long corridor. This is one of the more boring level design pieces of this game.
What, do you kill a bunch of Metroids all in a row?
No, well, I mean, we just did that, but I mean, they make you go through this long corridor to kill one Metroid. Like, this is the only one we have to kill. And then we have to backtrack to get back to where we were.
Oh, it's just padding.
Yeah, a little bit of padding there. I think they're just trying to be different. The hardest thing about the map for this game, and one of the reasons why I keep getting lost even with it, is that this game does not follow... Like, if you put Hollow Knight on a map, it will fit almost perfectly with how the game world progresses. Metroid 2 does not do that. It randomly puts things on top of other things all the time.
There's a lot of running around.
So the map has to be like, go to A, go to B if you want to. So it's really hard to, like, at a glance, track where you are and do it quickly. So yeah, now we have to backtrack through all of this. And when we get to the next area, I think we're going to call it for the week.
Yeah, you made good progress.
Yeah, I was interested to see how far I would get. Like, if we were like, if we had gotten past the next big area, which I don't know how we would have done that, but if we had gotten past the next big area, I probably would have said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and just take a little extra time and beat it this week. But does anybody have any requests for what they want to do for the remaining time next week? Because I know for sure we're probably gonna finish early, maybe with half an hour.
And play Hollow Knight DLC.
Well, yeah, but I gotta get to the... Okay, so here's another question. If I do the Hollow Knight DLC, should I play... I need to play through the main game again so I can get used to it again. Should I do that on stream, or should I just get to the part where the Pantheon is and then just do the Pantheon? What do you guys think? Should I do a full playthrough, or should I get up to the Pantheon and just do the Pantheon?
You should do a poll.
Or do you not want to see Hollow Knight at all?
I mean, we've talked about it enough.
That's true. And Silksong's coming out, hopefully, soon. So apparently the release date for the original Hollow Knight was 2 weeks before it actually released.
Wait, what?
Like when the original Hollow Knight released.
It got delayed 2 weeks?
No, it was... They announced the release date 2 weeks before it actually released.
Oh. Well, you know what? I honestly prefer that over...
Announcing Metroid Prime 4 when the Switch launches and 4 years later.
When they barely had a splash screen made.
Oh, gosh. They were really, really trying to get people excited about the Switch at that time, and they pulled a Square Enix.
They were desperate.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I appreciate about Bethesda, is they do tend to make announcements and then their games come out shortly after. Although they did officially announce that after the contractually obligated games are released on all systems, no further games will be released on a machine that can't run Game Pass.
Okay, so I think this is a good place to stop. There are 2 Metroids in this place, and we have to kill 2 of them, so...
Spooky, spooky.
We're going to go ahead and save state, because we can do that. Let's see, save state. We'll put it in the middle. And that's what we're going to call it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.